guys! As you can probably tell, I'm recording this in the same session as my last video because I'm wearing the same outfit. Don't judge me. Anyway, so I'm here to show you guys the rooms that I've been working on. I'm trying to get a little bit more exciting with what I do with these videos because even though I think they're an improvement on just throwing out the pictures online and not really talking about them, I feel like I could still work on making my content more engaging. So we will see how this video does. So as you can probably recall from the last video, if you just came from that one, otherwise it's been a while, I was working on the graveyard section of the temple. So this path here is another one of the paths that you can take. There are these little statue kind of creatures here, so we will be able to see that more in the next room. The ones in the previous room were broken, but these ones will be fully functioning. Basically, they will just be shooting out little darts out of their mouths every few seconds. And this whole room here is going to operate as a maze, where you kind of have to avoid and find all the safe spots to go with all of these different things shooting in different directions. So they're going to all be in different spots and different orientations. And when you reach the back wall here, you'll be able to turn it off. Then when you go up through here, you will be able to find a little coffin. I don't know if the word is coffin or casket, but either way, there was a dead body in here. You'll be able to read about it. It was a demon who was part of this temple, part of the community, and she was one of the most powerful demons in their community who worked as their best builder. She was super strong. And as you can notice, she is no longer resting there. So what I was thinking about doing for this level, and specifically like the graveyard, was these little worms that can work their way into the resting places, either the coffins or the graves or whatever, of where these demons were buried, and it can reanimate them as zombies. And this only will apply to demons. There will be no human zombies in this. But if you've noticed in earlier parts of these videos, there are some graves in this level that have holes in them so that demon zombies could crawl up through them. This happened with this demon as well, except it got through her coffin and she busted out. So in this room here, you will have an encounter with her. I kind of just sketched it out instead of fully drawing everything, because here will be the tablet that you need. Oh, hello, Thomas. My cat just joined us. Anyway. Here will be the tablet that you need to use for the music box, and she will be standing right here where you will be chased by her, and that will lead you back through this room and through this one. And I wanted to set it up so that if you turn the machines back on, she doesn't chase you anymore, and that's kind of it. She just disappears. But if not, then she'll chase you. You can fight her, you can die, whatever it is. Anyway. So this leads to another path that I wanted to do, because that was one corner of the whole big graveyard section. Here's another path that you can take. As you can see, there is a coffin. Again, I don't know the right terminology for this. Well, people in the comments can correct me if we have an expert, but I'm not sure that we do, so we will see. There will be a bunch of these on the wall, but I did want to make one open to kind of show, okay, these little wormy things are getting into all sorts of demons' resting places, and that's why they are going to be the primary enemy in this part, is reanimated demon corpses. Either way, you find more notes, and you can make your way through here. I made a giant, like, statue that's basically supposed to be Eurenica's face. Then you go through this way. I made these tiny statues that'll be mounted against pillars. I just wanted to kind of switch it up, make things more interesting. And as we can see here again, there are some more graves that have been dug out of. As you work your way down in this path, you'll see that there are roots that are starting to kind of overgrow in these areas. And that just continues to get denser and denser until we reach the final room of this path, where you see part of a statue of Eurenica that has been, I don't know, pierced. I don't know what the best word is for this, but pierced by one of the roots. I pretty much just did that because I wanted to draw something interesting, and you know what? It turned out pretty good because I like this picture a lot. So the main point of this whole path has been to collect more pages of the human's journal, to piece together the history of the temple's community and what his connection with the music box is. Alright, so let's work our way back. So here we have the final path for the graveyard. This one was, I tried to switch it up a little bit. So this one has lanterns and one of them is broken. And you may be thinking, I wonder what happened for this one to get broken and twisted and stuff if it's made of metal. Well, we shall see. I basically just decided to put a wall here to make this room a little bit more interesting. You just walk around it and then here we go. So like that previous lantern pole thing, this metal door has also been severely distorted. This wall here is actually a divider that leads to a dungeon, which is the rest of the cemetery's contents. So as you can see, since the dungeon is no longer locked or properly secured, you can make your way in it and find out some more information. I basically wanted to make the dungeon marked very different in that like the Nightshade cult, this temple of demons and humans were not particularly kind to people who were outside of their group. So in this dungeon area, not only were people locked up, but there's this grimy sort of substance that's on the walls that's really dirty in there. No one really cleaned it up kind of stuff. So I drew a bunch of textures for this, and parts of the walls that are empty and don't have this texture will just have it basically edited through Photoshop. So you can see here I drew some of the wall textures that'll just be edited together digitally. There will be poles coming down over all these doors, except for this one. We'll have two of them yet again, bent and broken. So this was a cell that housed a human prisoner, and right here is her shoe. So if you noticed in the first episode, if you found all of the clues for Travis's backstory and then find his corpse, you were able to get a flashback of what he was sort of thinking about as he was dying, and this is the same case for this episode. So, as you investigate the dungeon, I have skeletons that'll be around in different cells. I added horns so that I can optionally make some of them demons. But this one here was a human. Then you continue on, so there will be more cells here. These ones will have doors instead of bars because I want it to be a mystery what each cell has inside of it. For instance, this one will have an enemy, this one will have the last tablet that you need, and this one will have another piece of paper that can help you. So these are basically all the uncovered cells that'll happen when you choose to open or do not open any of these doors. And they'll be covered by more of this texture so that you basically, it's a surprise what you get into, and you should choose wisely which doors you choose to open. Either way, continuing on, we have another sort of like transition room. It'll have a torch that I drew some sprites for, another piece of paper, and then that leads into this huge sort of like super dungeon cell. This character is the same one that can be seen at the lobby of the temple. So you will learn more about the lore with this in future videos because I've already started working on that history section of the temple. But basically you can choose to open this door. This will be the sprite for the open door, which is why this door is over here. It's not random or anything. And when you go through here, you'll see this cell that's a giant mouth with a huge tongue. And on the tongue will be this dead monster, which is responsible for all of the broken and twisted metal going on. And this human who was unfortunately this monster's last victim before it starved to death. So I won't get into the details too much because I do want to have that be the similar sort of thing as Travis, where it's like if you find the secret, you find the information, you can learn more about this person. But in short, what happened here is that this monster broke into the temple, and those who were in the temple basically lured it into this giant holding cell by having one of the prisoners work as bait. And so not only was she a prisoner of this temple, but she was also killed off for their benefit. So it's kind of a tragic sort of story that I hope people find interesting when they learn about it. because I wanted to make it so that not only is the cult morally ambiguous when you get to learn more about them, but you'll find that there's not a single group in the Shadowlands that's all good or all bad. They very much have their own agendas, and if you don't align with that, then it's usually bad news for you. Anyway, we went through a lot of rooms in this video. It's actually twice as many rooms as I normally do, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. As I said before, I'm kind of trying to like spice things up a little bit, see what works and what doesn't, so just let me know what your thoughts are if you have any on these new sort of improvements. I hope you guys like what you saw in this video. If you did and you're new, then please consider subscribing to this channel or checking out any of my other social media to get updates on the game. If you found it especially interesting, you can also consider subscribing to me on Patreon. I release all of my content on there early, and I also post early builds of the game depending on what episode I'm working on and what I've been doing with the project file. Either way, thank you all so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.